In this video, we review a random 180-degree awning from a brand you've never heard about.
Stop it. We're not saying that on camera.
Let me give you a little backstory of how we got here. Emily and I have built out our second-gen Sequoia here for our family overland vehicle, and the thing that always bothered us was whenever we'd fully deploy the 270 awning, it would make it so we couldn't open the back hatch all the way, and we'd go camping and we'd always hit our heads. And randomly, out of nowhere, Hima reached out to Emily and myself via email and said, hey, would you like to review one of our products on our channel? We have rooftop tents, we have camping gear, and we also have 180 awnings. And we said, for sure, what do you need from us? And their ask was pretty simple. Put it on your rig, take some pictures, take some video, and tell us what you think. This video is made because they provided it to us for free, but they didn't tell us what to say. And to be completely honest with you, I don't know if I can honestly recommend this 180-degree awning for anyone. But before we get into the nitty-gritty of this awning, let's rewind a little bit, take off our 270, throw the 180 on, take it on the trail, and then let's give you a review. I was going to give you guys a review of the awning on the trail in situation with the wife, the dogs, in nature. But as I was using this awning more and more in nature, my talking points and the things I wanted to say in the video just kept changing. First I started saying like, this is the best awning you can buy for $400 or $500. Then I started to realize it really wasn't. Now we're finally back home and I can give you the actual review of the awning, and I can really take my time to point out some of the pros and cons of the Hima 180 awning. Firstly, before we even opened it up, is this awning has been on the car for probably 2 weeks, maybe 3 weeks now. And you can kind of see there's already a little bit of a sag in the bag here and a sag in the awning. Like, look at this. You can see it's just kind of like sagging down. It's pulling the bag down with it. It just doesn't look level. You can see the seam here goes down on the front and then comes up towards the logo. So I don't know if that's a product design fail or a bag fail, but like this already alone and 2 weeks in, it's not really a good sign. I've used it one time in nature and you can see the little stitching on the end of the straps is starting to fray. And these straps are very small. While that seems like it might be a good thing for packaging, it's really a bad thing. I'm sitting in my driveway in 72 degree weather with no stress on me whatsoever, very calm day. And it's actually kind of hard to put the straps back in the little strap holder here, one-handed or even with two hands, because everything is so small and the tolerance here is really tight. The awning I had before, the OVS awning, the straps were about twice the size of this, and it was very easy, even one-handed, to put them in the strap holder and tighten the awning down. That may not seem like a big deal to you, but the reason why it's a big deal is because when you're at camp and it's time to pack up your camp and be done with camp and go somewhere else, you don't want to be fiddling with things. You want pack up to be the easiest thing possible, and small little details like a strap that's hard to put back together ×3 will really add up, especially if you're going to drop a couple $100, maybe even $400 to $500 on something like an awning. Now that we got the awning open, let's talk about some of the things that I would change immediately about this awning. Firstly, as you can see, the straps that they include with the awning are way too short. For any 180 awning, it's designed to take the anchor and go all the way to some point on the vehicle. And even if I were to take that black strap and move it into the rack more, which would then not even let the arm have any tension, it's still too short. So I had to use like an orange ratchet strap to get it to go to the right length. And sadly, that doesn't really fit the motif of what we got going on here at camp. If you're listening to this, San Hima, include something at the end that has a built-in hook that's maybe 4 times the length of this strap that's included here, and use something that's a little bit more beefy than like a backpack strap. Use something that has a nicer material to it and some sort of easier quick slide system, like roller cam or something on here other than this, because sure, it's nice that I could quick release this, but this is the kind of stuff you see in like a JanSport backpack from like, I don't know, 6th grade. This is not heavy duty, and this is not gonna last in the elements at all. Another thing I would change here is I have this arm all the way out, and you can kind of see that the awning sags quite a bit. I mean, you can see here that it does have a pole that just kind of fell, and the poles are on the legs here, but the awning is like way saggy. And take it from me, I used to have a Rhino Rack Batwing 270 awning, and the moment I took it out of the box, it sagged just like this. And after time, the materials of the awning would degrade, and those sagging arms would break on the trail. I've mentioned in so many videos why you should never buy a Rhino Rack 270 awning Batwing. It is such a horrible awning. And these saggy arms really remind me of that. And I think the sag is due to 2 areas. One, the brackets that hold on the awning, which you can kind of see, are flexing here. And they're not as strong as the brackets that come with like an OVS. The metal is too thin. It needs to be much heavier duty, because if it's flexing like this on the vehicle out, that just means there's going to be more play down the road, and that metal for that bracket right here is just going to get softer and softer. Look, I can even flex it with my finger. There are bolts and hardware that go to the actual mounting plate on the vehicle, but these are just rivets. After time, I can promise you those rivets are gonna come loose, and the metal that holds the rivet in is beyond thin. There are some good things about the San Hima awning that actually are working in its favor. Firstly, the material of the awning is fantastic. I really love this heavy duty material. This is really good stuff. It even has like taped seams on the inside, which is a really, really nice touch. I mean, that's super nice for weather sealing. To see taped seams on something like this is quite impressive. The legs, while they are telescoping, which is standard procedure for any awning, the legs come with not only a little poker for the ground to stay in, but they come with a loop for you to put a tent spike through. And I think that's a really nice touch. Yes, of course, this little knot can degrade over time and come undone, and maybe they can make this like a steel loop or something a little bit more heavy duty. But I really love that you don't have to drive a stake through the leg like you would with the Rhino Rack or even other awnings. You can literally just use this loop and drive a stake right through it here into the ground and keep the leg down. And I think that is a very nice touch. Huge plus for San Hima on that. However, the arms, once you try to put them up in here like this, well, the arms just friction fit in here with this little rubber gasket. There's no way to actually secure the arm, and I think that's kind of a design flaw. As you saw when I first opened the awning, that arm just came and swung down. Now, if I was a parent and I had a child here, or if I had my dogs here, that's a hazard. It's not something I like. I don't want an arm swinging down when I open up my awning at camp. There should be a way to like secure that arm in the leg permanently until you're ready to release it and not just friction fit. Since we're in the awning that won't stay open because the things that leave it open are too short, I have to hold it up with my hand to show you the rest of this video. But one thing that the San Hima 180 awning has that's pretty cool, that's going for it, is it has a light built into the track there, and the light you can adjust where it goes, and it just plugs in with a USB connector on a little 12 volt here. You can run that, you can Velcro the USB connector to your car. You can Velcro the USB connector to the awning. The frame here, you can even run it inside your car to a battery pack. I think having a light inside here is pretty cool, especially if you're going to use this for like a shelter at night or put walls on it. To have a light in there is pretty freaking cool. I have yet to turn on the light, so I don't know any of the colors or the modes that it has. The fact that there's one in there is a nice addition. I'm not a survivalist. I'm not the best overlander in the world. I'm literally just a guy who likes to go out in nature with his family and his sequoia and just see stuff. But there are some times where an awning is a critical and vital piece of equipment that transforms a camping or overland trip from absolutely miserable to quite pleasant, and that is during really, really, really bad weather. Emily and I have taken this rig and we've camped in the middle of a blizzard at the base of Mount Hood, and we had the OVS 270 awning, secured all the legs down to it. We even used the guy lines to secure the actual awning material. Then we threw 2 walls up on the awning and made ourselves a nice little fort area, kind of like what you see here, what we used in Oregon. And by having everything kind of enclosed, it not only allowed us to hang out near our awning and have a big space for our dogs and cook and eat, but it also gave us like a home away from home from our shelter. So we had a shift pod at the time, and we were like camping in the shift or sleeping in the shift pod. Then in the morning we can come in here and make breakfast and stay nice and warm and toasty. In the evening we could be toasty. It really transformed our entire camping situation from like just a place to sleep to truly base camp. And this sounds a little preachy, but what outdoor companies need to know is that people use this equipment in really bad weather, potentially dangerous, deadly weather. And the equipment really needs to be up to snuff for that. It can't sag like this. It can't not have enough material to like strap it down to your rack. It has to be ready for stuff that, if you were ill prepared, could become dangerous. There are a lot of companies that get it, and there are a lot of companies that are new into the scene and just don't know what they need to have for weather like that. San Hima could really use a little bit more research on the use of the awning in really bad weather to keep you not only alive but cozy as well. Another thing I would change about the San Hima awning is there are no instructions on how to close the awning. It would be nice if the arms or a material or whatever had numbers on it, so you knew which arm to close first, second, third, fourth, to fold it into itself. With the Rhino rack, it was pretty easy. The arms would stack vertically, 270. The OVS, there was no way to mess it up. You just grab one arm and it closes itself and you roll the fabric up. But with this 180 awning, there are no instructions on how to do it correctly. The last time Emily and I tried to close this on the trail, it took us 7.5 minutes to close the awning.
We packed up camp and we can't figure out how to close the San Hima awning.
Now I know what you're saying. Why don't you just watch the way you opened it and reverse the order? Or I know what you're saying, read the manual. Or there's going to be someone in the comments saying, I don't have a problem closing my awning. Why do you? I don't know how to close this awning. I've closed it now for 2 weeks and I still suck at it. Final thoughts on the awning. There are some good features of the San Hima awning. Yeah, the material's really great of the awning. Tape seams, my God, that's like really high end. I love how the legs have ropes on the bottom of them that you can stake the legs into the ground. Of course, there are guideline attachments. But there are some critical flaws of the awning. The attachment lines are not long enough to reach any sort of rack, and they have a loop built in them. But like, what are you gonna loop it to? It's just way too short. That's like critical, number one. How are you gonna keep the awning open? Number two, the brackets that hold it in place are just too weak. They need to be way stronger. It can't be flexing like that. Number three, the arms are too thin, and the rivets that hold on the arms are not strong. Those arms are gonna come off and they're gonna break. Strong gust of wind is going to bend those arms. I can promise you that. The construction needs to just be a lot better in terms of the strength of the awning. I will say, the San Hima awning does have some benefits going for it. The lights are a nice touch. The material's a nice touch. And the ropes on the bottom of the legs are a nice touch. And this is the cheapest 180-degree awning I've ever seen in my life. And the reason why I agreed to make this video is because lots of products are made in the same factory. Lots of products in your favorite Overland companies. Go look at rooftop tents. A lot of them look the same because they're all made in the same factory. There are some things that are proprietary, like colors and materials and locks, but for the most part, they're kind of made in the same area. So I thought maybe the San Hima awning would be like a secret value buy, where you'd be getting the quality of a name brand at half the price or a third of the price or even a 30% discount of the price. But it turns out the San Hima awning just isn't that. Can I honestly recommend this awning to you and your family? No, I cannot. There are some critical flaws in the awning. There are some upgrades that really need to happen in order for it to really be a product that you're going to be happy with dropping $400, $500, $600, $700 on, tax, shipping. It really needs to change. It really needs to upgrade. I hope this video really helped you in your purchase decision. At the very least, if you're not looking to buy a San Hima awning, look at the things that I pointed out in the video. It will help you with your decision. If you want to see us review more outdoor gear, free or not, let us know in the comments below. We would love to do that. I've been overlanding and off-roading for a long time, and there are some things that are really critical to me that might be critical to you, and I'd love to review them and show you what to buy or what not to buy. Thank you guys so much for watching, and we'll see you on the next one.